protecting the paint and rebounding because of this key player for Memphis.
Well, Cheyenne Creighton, she's the leader. She's going to be a nightmare to guard. She can shoot outside. She can shoot the three. She's shooting 60% out there. And then she can also have a variety of moves inside.
She is a tough handle. Meanwhile, for the University of Tulsa, Erica Wakefield.
Well, Erica Wakefield's been a standstill leader since she's been with Tulsa. She's an amazing person, great leader. She'll do whatever it takes for her team to win. She's a major distributor, but she also puts up 15 points.
Yeah, she's coming off a big game recently on New Year's Day. We have the starting lineups and the tip-off, and it's next on the American Digital Network.
In a city known for doing things our way, there's a university that's driven to do the same, to blur the outdated line between academic pursuits and active ones, not just to learn, but to experience, to create, solve, build, to explore and express, to lead. Because an education isn't something you get, it's something you do.
University of Tulsa, a top 50 private institution.
Let's take a look at the starting lineup for the 7-7 Memphis Tigers. Bria Elmore, Brianna Porter, Taylor Williams, Cheyenne Creighton, and Bria Cochran-Wilder. When you look at this starting lineup, Coach, much more experience than what Tulsa has.
Well, that's been a group of players that have played together for a while. And, they definitely have the edge as far as, knowing each other and knowing how to close out a game.
That's true, and that's been one of Tulsa's challenges is closing out games. We'll talk about that as we move along. Wakefield, again, coming off a career-high 25 points this past Sunday. Alexis Dalton, one of the better freshman guards. Then you have another freshman, Kendrian Elliott. Ashley Hughes is one of the seniors back in the starting lineup. And then Lisa Spurl had her best game Sunday, nearly a double-double against the Houston Cougars. There is a look at the Memphis bench, and their head coach is her back to you, Melissa McFerrin. Will get a better shot of her in her 8th year. She has done a nice job. 130 wins overall and closing in on 200 career wins.
Yes.
And for Matilda Mossman, her 6th season at the University of Tulsa, and she's closing in overall career also at K-State, 225 wins.
Both of them veteran coaches. They know each other well. They know their style. And they have a great deal of respect for each other's programs.
Our officials tonight, Brian Brunette, Fatu Sissoko Stevens, and Jeffrey Smith. And again, back to the keys to the game while we have a moment. Again, contrasting styles. This is a Memphis team that's, I would think, going to take advantage of Cheyenne Creighton as much as they can to get it inside.
Look for them to be that, Cheyenne to be their go-to person, either inside or out. I think they're going to try to keep the tempo such that they cannot wear themselves out. She doesn't have as many go-to players, and she's not as deep on the bench. But I think she's going to be extremely disappointed if they don't do a good job of defending Tulsa's three.
Yeah, Tulsa making a living with the three-pointers with this young team. 3rd in the conference at 35% beyond the arc. We're ready to go. Thanks for joining us. Pull up a chair. We're ready to go from Tulsa. Don King, along with Coach Angela Beck, in Memphis, gets the first possession of the game. Remember, it's 10-minute quarters instead of the 2 20-minute halves. That changed a couple of years ago. Elmore, yes. Bria Elmore gets Memphis right off the board for a 3-0 lead.
That's a good sign. They went into Creighton right away. They had a double up from Tulsa on Creighton, and she found the open player to knock that down. Memphis is coming out in a 3-2 zone. She said she's going to mix it up quite a bit. and try to keep them off kilter. And this is kind of an interesting start because they usually like to come out in their man.
Almost stolen by Wilder Cochran and down to 3. So they're playing in the defense of Memphis, and they can't get a shot off.
Yeah, that's unlike Wakefield there to hold it and not try to throw it off her leg or, try to do something with it. She's kind of motioning to her teammates, hey, come around and move for me. She really didn't have anywhere to go with the ball.
She did. She was in jail, couldn't get out, and so here's Memphis back with it. Taylor Williams off to Creighton. Creighton is more, is she more of an inside player? She can hit the mid-range jumper as Williams drives and hits another.
That's a nice take off the dribble. She's inside and out. I think she feels most comfortable with her back to the basket, but certainly has improved her mid-range game and also is highly capable of shooting the 3.
Again, Tulsa loves the three-pointer. Here's one up and air-mailed by Spurl, and here comes Memphis. Both of these teams have not done a great job rebounding, so it's going to be interesting who owns that department tonight.
Neither of them great rebounding teams, and neither of them high-scoring teams. I'm really shocked that that's, they're in the 60s, both teams. That's going to be tough to win in this league, only shooting with 60 points. I want to go credit their defense. I'm not sure we can do that, but, this is fairly a low-scoring opportunity here so far.
Elliott with the rebound for Tulsa. Wakefield penetrating, as she likes to do, off to Golden, who can't handle it. Tulsa has had only one shot in 3 possessions.
Well, Tulsa needs to find Elliott early and try to establish that post game. There's a lot of dribbling. They have a lot of respect for, Wakefield, so they're not going to let her run the show too much. So other people are going to have to step up early.
Nice tip away by Spurl. Here comes Tulsa. Maybe they can get something in transition. Hughes, good move. Spurl hit those Sunday. Can't get this one. And rebounded by Wilder Cochran. Against Wakefield. Blocked by Wakefield. And here comes the Tulsa guard. Out racing Elmo, but she can't get the layup.
A little bit of sloppy action here early by both teams.
That one wouldn't go for Cheyenne Creighton, her first shot. So Golden will bring it up. She's an excitable freshman out of Broken Arrow, a suburb of Tulsa, and guided her team to the state championship back-to-back years. And that layup gets Tulsa on the board.
That's nice. I don't think these fans wanted to stand up too long. So it's good that they got them on their feet.
Yeah, that's a tradition here at Tulsa to stand up until that first basket.
Yeah, here we go with a little replay. She comes down, she drives, and takes it all the way to the hole for their first 2. Nice take. One of the problems that Matilda has is that the kids don't want to drive to the bucket. Mm-hmm. That's a good indicator early that they're willing to do it. Some of these standstill shooters don't want to take it to the hole. Now we switch to a 1-2-2 half-court trap by Memphis.
That's where they need to put it, right in the middle.
See, Creighton's doing a good job on Elliott inside. Everybody watch that matchup a little bit with 10 and 0-0. Elliott is really key to their offense, and Creighton's being a monster with her on defense.
Wakefield, or rather Perez, Tatiana Perez in the game and burns the 2.
That's a good sign for Perez to get on the board. They need her to score more in their offense.
So 4 minutes into the game, Memphis jumped out to a 5-0 lead. And Tulsa trying to get the steal, but can't do it. Memphis retains possession with 16 to shoot.
Yeah, that was a good getting on the floor by Perez. I actually thought she knocked it off the other girl's foot, but it wasn't called that way.
You can also follow as well as you see the Twitter handle there at American_WBB. Nice stop and shot by Taylor Barnes. The freshman knocks it in.
I like to see it when players at this level are shooting that mid-range jumper.
Yes.
I think it's part of the art that is no longer in the game.
Thank you. It's a forgotten art in both men and women.
Well, because most players think, if I shoot the three, I might get recruited. And really what they're looking for is versatility and depth in your game.
Nice basket. And the foul. Loisha Morris with the basket.
Well, I didn't make that as one of the keys to the game because I can only have three, but one of the keys was going to be Tulsa being able to get back and stop transition. All right, here we go with a steal here. She takes it down, keeps a heads-up play, throws it the length of the court, and they get the layup on the other end. And unfortunately, the foul to top it off. Morris is at the line. Neither team great free throw shooting teams.
She knocks that one down. She's 10 of 14 on the season to complete the three-point play. Memphis now enjoys a 6-point lead, the biggest of this first quarter, as we approach the midway mark of this opening quarter from Tulsa. Wakefield again with 25 points, but hasn't had many looks. Here's Spurl inside. And Elliott strong underneath. They need that from her, but she couldn't finish. Barnes with it.
Both teams like to run a lot of picking and rolling.
Perez comes away with it. Perez averaging nearly 8 points a game. Off to Hughes. Spurl in the corner. Showing some patience here with 10 to shoot and still with it. There's the three they're looking for. Boy, nice job by Barnes again.
That's a strong face-up. Little soft touch off the glass. The other part is the banker, man. I mean, just seeing these kids be able to shoot a nice soft banker that shows a lot of skill.
When you're not shooting well, use the glass. That's what I was always taught. Although Memphis is off to a good job shooting the basketball, and Spurl gets Tulsa back on the board to stop the 7-0 run.
Well, Spurl's a junior, and she's a leader for this team, and I think that they inserted Spurl and Hughes to try to get these guys off track a little bit earlier.
Creighton hasn't had many looks, and she'll go to the line here for two.
Cheyenne's done a good job. It looks like she's getting double and triple team now, and she's doing a good job of really attacking it.
So Memphis jumps out to a 12-6 lead, 3:21 left in the opening quarter on the American Digital Network.
In a city known for doing things our way, there's a university that's driven to do the same, to blur the outdated line between academic pursuits and active ones, not just to learn, but to experience, to create, solve, build, to explore and express, to lead. Because an education isn't something you get, it's something you do.
University of Tulsa, a top 50 private institution.
We are American. We are the spark that ignites, dazzling, brilliant, intense. We are plugged in with the volume turned up all the way. Because on this court, on any given night, the energy of 5 becomes the power of 1. That's power. We are power.
Taking a look at the standings, no surprise that number 1 UConn won their opener. In fact, they're ahead at halftime over East Carolina easily and approaching that 90-game winning streak. Temple, SMU, Tulane, and Houston all won their openers. USF is opening tonight against Cincinnati, and Tulane is at number 22, USF. No real surprises in the opening games.
Yeah, not really. It's early, obviously, and there's a lot that's going to happen. UConn, I don't think a whole lot's going to happen with them. They're going to have to find ways to keep everybody interested because, I mean, they're that good. But the rest, I think it's going to be pretty competitive. If you look, Temple played Memphis, and it was an overtime game, and Temple was picked number 2, so it's going to be a very solid American. I think everybody on the bottom has improved their game, and I think it's going to be highly competitive.
As you see, Tulsa at the bottom, the only team with a losing record in this 11-team conference. And Matilda Mossman certainly understands that. Her assistant, Shane Coffey, just to the left of her. He's just back in action. He missed last week with pneumonia. Had the flu, and it turned into pneumonia, but Matilda knows she's got a young team with a lot of freshmen and sophomores starting.
Yeah, young's one thing, but they're going to have to shoot the ball.
Right.
And it doesn't matter how old you are. You got to put the ball in the hole, and right now they started out 3-10 and 0 for 2 from three-point range. Not a good sign early. Defensively, they didn't get back a couple times. I think if you can get a young team to play extremely hard early, then that's half the battle, and they've got to prove to play hard and get back.
Yeah, you're right. Creighton splits the pair, makes it 13-6, biggest lead for Memphis in this opening quarter from the Reynolds Center. Golden with a nice penetration off to Elliott, just like she drew it up during the timeout.
Well, nice take. Golden set that whole thing up. Elliott has to touch the ball more, and that was great coming out of a timeout.
Now they look for a stop. 44. Milena Baich is in the game for Memphis. And a nice move again by Taylor Barnes. A freshman out of Memphis has 6 early points.
Well, Taylor Barnes is the most improved Memphis player. I'm liking what I'm seeing out of her. I mean, she's elevating on her shot. She's going in extremely hard. She looks like she's taken her game to a whole nother level, and she's only a freshman.
Missed shot from the side. Addison Richards, number 4 in the game for Tulsa, and the layup won't go. And Richards fights for the rebound, can't control it. Memphis gets a fresh clock. Morris with the penetration and then throws it away.
Well, I like the effort on that, but not a lot was going on in there. They had 3 Tulsa jerseys inside, so that was they would have had to thread the needle on that pass, and that wasn't a good decision.
Tulsa bringing in some more replacements. Wakefield is back into the game.
Tulsa plays about 11 to 12 players every single game.
Boy, Elliott had the seal off the hip and couldn't get the layup. Those are the shots Tulsa has to hit to win this game.
Yeah, she's missed 2 easy cribs.
Wakefield cut off.
I wish for Tulsa, they do have 3 guards on the floor. All 3 of those backcourt players have played point guard for their high schools. And I wish one of them would handle the ball a little bit more because of that. Wakefield is a great shooter, and she can't shoot the ball all the time when she's running the offense.
Yeah. Matilda likes to recruit point guards, though.
She does, and I would too. I mean, as long as they're a little bit bigger. I mean, I don't like a lot of short players, but they know how. They're pretty smart, and they run offenses, so it's not a bad idea. It's a second steal in the row by Elliott inside. Now they got a little transition of their own, and can she finish?
Perez rejected underneath the basket
by Barnes. Barnes again.
Getting fluid end to end, isn't she?
Yeah, if you take a look at Barnes's body, though, I mean, it's strong. I mean, sure, she's physical. Look at Barnes coming out of nowhere. Boom.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Physically, she doesn't look like a freshman, does she?
And that's why I try to tell all these young kids, get on the weights. You know, don't wait till you get to college to start weightlifting. You got to start weightlifting in high school. Even if your high school coaches aren't making you weight lift, you do it because you care enough about yourself and you want to take your game to the next level.
Second team foul called outside on Bria Wilder Cochran. So we're winding down the final 45 seconds of the opening quarter, and Tulsa trying to get back in this thing, down by 7 at one time.
Yeah, they're running a 3-2 defense. I'd like to see Tulsa overload the baseline because that's where this defense is the weakest. If they run a little baseline cutter, maybe a double low, because it's a 3-2. They're trying to stop, the penetration up top, and then they're doubling down on the block every single time. So they're not really overloading that baseline as much as I think they need to.
And Tulsa's been better offensively, more rhythm as they've been able to get the ball inside to Elliott. This will count. And we've got 22 seconds left in the quarter.
See if they get the last shot. Let's see how they execute this last shot. I think that Melissa does a good job of running good sets. Here she's got total control of the team. They're running a little stack set. Now up to a 1-4 high. Ball's into Creighton.
Travel called.
Well, obviously, Tulsa knew that play.
Yeah.
That was a triple down on her, and Creighton should have known that she had the traffic and found the open player.
So they have 3.7 seconds left. They'll give it to Perez, one of the faster players on the team. She almost goes coast to coast with it. And we're done with one from the Reynolds Center. Don King along with Coach Angela Beck. Thanks for joining us as Memphis leads Tulsa 15-10 on the American Digital Network.
In a city known for doing things our way, there's a university that's driven to do the same, to blur the outdated line between academic pursuits and active ones, not just to learn, but to experience, to create, solve, build, to explore and express, to lead. Because an education isn't something you get, it's something you do.
University of Tulsa, a top 50 private institution.
We are American. The conference of opportunity. The opportunity to chase dreams. The opportunity to make your mark and change the game. Because that's power. We are power.
Tulsa cheerleaders off from their Christmas break, getting back in action as Memphis leads Tulsa 15-10. It's interesting after this first quarter, Angela, that the three main scorers for Memphis haven't really taken off. Creighton with 1 point, Elmore with 3, Williams with just 2, but it's been the freshman Barnes who's already net her season average, 5.5 points a game. She's got 6.
I think credit Coach Mossman and their scouting plan. They're obviously collapsing on Creighton inside and then paying attention to the other two scorers. So it's allowing Barnes then to get open, and they probably have the weakest defender on Barnes because she's the weakest one of the 4. And they've talked about if Barnes could come alive, how good these guys would be, and how exciting was that to watch her really have a really great first quarter.
And when you're a young player like that, a freshman, well, you can really feed off a good first quarter and have a tremendous game. Matilda Mossman's team hasn't shot that bad this season. 40% from the field, 35% from beyond the arc. But in this first quarter, they took 5 more shots and made 1 less basket.
Second conference game, I think you have a lot of young players. Still, they have the nerve factor. You know, they make it a little bit bigger in their mind than really it is, and you can't control that. But I like that slashing action right there. They really attack the basket, and and went after it, and that was Richards. She inserted a bigger player, and maybe that's going to help a little bit more on Creighton.
When you are a freshman, and as you mentioned, she likes to recruit point guards as you take a look at the foul, is it hard to get freshmen to penetrate, to drive to the basket when they're so used to wanting to sit out and shoot the three?
Well, Don, that's a good question. Is it hard? I think it's hard to get a kid that's never done it to do it. I think it's something innately in your system. And then if they haven't done it a whole lot, you've got to drill it. And it takes a while, so it may not be till their sophomore, junior year that they add that repertoire to their game.
Close as it's been, 15-11, and Elliott controlling the glass for Tulsa. Off to Wakefield. Both of these teams coming off narrow losses in their conference openers. Tulsa lost New Year's Day, Sunday at Houston. They fell behind by nearly 20 points, came back to make it a game at the end, and Elliott blows the layup. And then Memphis lost in overtime to Temple at home in Memphis on Sunday afternoon. And that one wouldn't go. Wow, good look for Creighton. Number 10 for Memphis, and number 10 Golden brings it down for Tulsa. You're pretty familiar with Memphis and Temple going overtimes.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I think I saw 5 overtimes in that game. It hit the history books.
Yes.
So it was a great game, and Memphis came out ahead.
Wakefield trying to scrape off the pick. Almost made the circus shot. Minute and a half into the second quarter. Memphis hasn't scored yet, still leading 15-11. And the drive and the foul, or it's an offensive foul on Elmore.
Yeah, she takes the ball to the hole, and she got one step, and great defensive positioning there by Tulsa.
Good look there at Melissa McFerrin, her 9th year as the head coach. From Cassville, Missouri, which isn't too far from here, just north of Eureka Springs, Arkansas, in the southwestern part of Missouri. So probably an hour's drive, maybe a little over an hour's drive, probably an hour and a half to her hometown. And she said she doesn't have any family there, but a couple of her old high school coaches here today and a couple other friends from Cassville.
Well, McFerrin was a long-time assistant before she ever took over as a head coach at Ohio State and then in the WNBA. And so it was nice to see assistants that have paid their dues like she has to get a great job and do so well. She's was part of 2 NCAAs and just really has meant a lot to the game of women's basketball.
Yeah, she really moved up the ranks with regard to the WNBA, to assistant coach at one time and then all the way to general manager.
Matilda stayed Coach Mossman in her man-to-man. So far, she hasn't changed that. And they've been doing a pretty good job of not fouling. They ever get a steal by Wakefield.
Coast to coast, but she hurried the layup, but gets bailed out on the foul, and she'll shoot 2.
Well, let's see if they would miss the cribs that they have. So there's about six points by Elliott. This one, I don't understand. I mean, she's got the lead, and it seems like she's kind of just not attacking the glass and going to it, kind of falling away from it.
She's a good free throw shooter, though, 77% on the year. Leads the team in 13 points per game, 24 steals on the season, and 31 minutes per game played, as you see Richards check out for Tulsa.
Well, she came off a huge game against Houston, 25 points and 4 steals versus them. She was ready, and it was a heartbreaking loss for them. But they won 0 of 11 in the fourth quarter and couldn't find the bottom part of the bucket.
They've had 3 double-digit leads evaporate and lose those 3 games this season. So it's been a tough start for Matilda Mossman and the Hurricane at 4-10. And Taylor Williams gets her second basket of the game.
That was a good-looking jump shot by Williams. She's really improved her upper body in the off season, and that was one of her goals, and she looks a lot stronger.
First basket of the quarter for Memphis.
running a little motion game.
However, needing help, and a double dribble called on Jessica Pongonis.
She's got a little deep on that dribble. Everyone who touches the ball doesn't have to dribble it, you know.
True.
And I think if you take a dribble every single time, you're not shifting the defense. So what you want to do is counter, you know, tilt it and then attack it. And more passing, less dribbling is good.
And you also need to have somebody come and help you. And that's twice that Tulsa's kind of been in trouble and nobody's helped their teammate. Nice rebound by Tulsa, and the outlet to Wakefield. Tulsa's only attempted 3 trays in this game. That's pretty unusual for them to this point.
Well, this 3-2 defense is stopping. Now they're in a man, but the 3-2 early was stopping any perimeter action, and they just weren't getting on in the corners.
Perez with a nice move. Can't finish. Creighton with the rebound, and the outlet to Taylor Williams. Here comes Memphis up 4. Morris kick out and the Williams 3, bang. 20-13 Memphis.
Taylor Williams is, you know, she's a great senior. I asked her what's really changed in her game. She says, I just kind of woke up and realized, hey, this is it for me. And you know, it's you know, it's a credit to her, but why do all these guys have to start playing great their senior year, you know? I mean, everyone just needs to put it all on the floor every time they get out there.
Crystal Polk into the game, and she loses it. Taylor Williams has scored back-to-back baskets. Memphis leads. That last basket, by the way, was a 2, not a 3, as I exclaimed. Morris running the point for the Tigers. And Williams feeling it. And airmails that one, and we have a break in the action with 4:48 remaining here at the Reynolds Center in the first half. Memphis has led all the way, and they lead by a half dozen over Tulsa on the American Digital Network.
We are American. We are the spark that ignites, dazzling, brilliant, intense. We are plugged in with the volume turned up all the way. Because on this court, on any given night, the energy of 5 becomes the power of 1. That's power. We are power.
In a city known for doing things our way, there's a university that's driven to do the same, to blur the outdated line between academic pursuits and active ones. Not just to learn, but to experience, to create, solve, build, to explore and express, to lead. Because an education isn't something you get, it's something you do.
University of Tulsa, a top 50 private institution.
We are American. The conference of opportunity. The opportunity to chase dreams. The opportunity to make your mark and change the game. Because that's power. We are power.
Don King along with Coach Angela Beck, and a look at Matilda Mossman in her 6 years head coach at Tulsa, after at one time being head coach at Kansas State and the University of Arkansas. And in between that, before Tulsa, she'd gotten back into the high school ranks and coached Norman to a state championship after Sherry Cole had done the same thing.
Yeah, Matilda's been around for a while, as I have, and she was at Kansas State when I was at Nebraska. And, you know, it's tough to be a female coach when you're trying to raise a family. She had 2 young kids.
Right.
And right after after K-State, she decided to go to high school, kind of be with her 2 boys that she was raising, and then kind of got the itch back to get to college. And she did the same thing that Sherry Cole did a great job. And I guess, you know, who couldn't do a good job at Oklahoma with all their talent, but you still got to be a good coach. And they hired her, and she's excited. She's reinvigorated, and she's done a great job so far.
Yeah, she really has. And her 2 boys, one of them, they're now grown out of college, and she was saying that one of her 2 boys is into the coaching. So it runs in the bloodlines.
Well, Sherry Cole's son, he's the assistant. He's a graduate assistant at Oklahoma too.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I think, and then Pat had Summit's son, and you know, I think once the coach's son or daughter, it's a pretty good bet that if you've been born and raised in a gym, you're probably that's gonna probably be your expertise.
And you mentioned you at Nebraska and Matilda at Kansas State. Melissa played at Missouri, so it's kind of old Big 8, Big 12 reunion for you 3 today.
Absolutely.
Nice play into Pope for the layup.
Well, nice to see Crystal Pope get on board. She's a sophomore there from Oklahoma, and she averages about 12 minutes a game for them. So that's a good, nice soft touch by the big girl. Out
of the southwestern part of the state, went to Eisenhower High School in Lawton and turned 20 just before Christmas on December 23rd. That's got to be kind of bittersweet to have your birthday so close to Christmas. She grabs the rebound. I don't know anyone who has their birthday close to Christmas that likes it. I wouldn't think so. They always feel cheated. Right. I always take, you know, for those people, I take one of their Christmas presents and put birthday wrapping on it. There you go. Makes sense. Nice basket there by the University of Tulsa, and Ebony Parker. She just celebrated her birthday last night, her 21st birthday. She celebrates with a huge 3-pointer. And Tulsa, believe it or not, it's within 1, even though they haven't shot the ball extremely well. But they are starting to control the game, and there's a foul on the back. Charge to 22 of Tulsa Pongonas. Well, a combination of Tulsa's defense and then the shot selection by Memphis. I really liked Memphis's shot selection early. But here, Tulsa, it's a little punch, step back move. And that was a great shot for her. And on this end, they've just kind of been forcing it. Williams forced the last 2 shots that she had, and they can get better shots than that. And again, even though Creighton's owning the glass with 6 rebounds, she's only had 2 shots in this first half. Elliott's done a nice job on her. Yeah, it's fun to watch that matchup between Elliott and Creighton. They're pushing each other in there and really playing physically. Drive by Morris. Out to Williams, who had a good first quarter, and Morris for the 3. Gets it back. Recycles the clock. Barnes lost it, and a nice job at tying her up was Ashley Hughes for Tulsa. Well, part of the problem on the dribble penetration for Memphis is they're dribble penetrating, kicking it to Morris, but Morris doesn't want to shoot that 3 because she's 1 for 10 right now. From 3-point range this year, she doesn't have any confidence. Even when she took it, you could tell she really didn't want to pull the trigger. Number 40, Dominique Miller in the game. Can't get the rebound for Memphis. Tulsa has it, and they have a chance to take the lead for the first time. And Morris is going to be whistled for a foul. So Memphis on the ball screen's choosing to go on the top of it, and Tulsa is going behind it. So here comes the ball screen. She's trying to get on top of it. Wakefield kind of falls into her, but on the other hand, on this side, they're going behind it. Tulsa's choosing to go behind the ball screen, so Memphis does need to try to pull the trigger, but Melissa doesn't really want them shooting that many threes, so it's a good defensive decision by Matilda to go underneath it. Wakefield is 4 of 4 from the line, and Tulsa tied it and now takes the lead on those 2 free throws. 2019. Memphis only has 2 baskets, both by Williams in this quarter, and we've got a foul out front on Hughes. I think Creighton's getting a little frustrated.
They had a little isolation here early on her, one-on-one in the paint, and didn't give it to her. So they need to find out when she's open and throw it in there.
Tulsa, meanwhile, is in the bonus the rest of the 2 minutes, 20 seconds of this quarter. Tulsa has a foul to give. They work the ball inside to Williams, and she got fouled going up.
Nice take by Williams. She just missed 2 mid-range jumpers. So when your shot's not falling, take it to the hole, and that's what she did and drew the foul.
So Williams ties the game at 20. She saw Melissa McFerrin. It has been already an early season with a lot of adjustments. We'll talk about that as we move along. Second tie of the game at 20. And we've got an offensive foul called on Elliott. So both teams in the bonus the rest of the way. Just under 2 minutes to play here in the first half. Low scoring first half, but you would expect that pretty much with these two teams.
I think Coach McFerrin's probably happy about it. Probably both of them. That there is a game and no one's really, blowing it out here early.
Hughes with a nice job defensively. Elliott trying to save it. Can't do it. And an offensive foul called on Miller.
That was Hughes, this senior, the leader. She hasn't had as many minutes maybe as she's wanted to, but she just gets in there, sets her feet. She's outside the circle and gets the charge. Great defense by Hughes.
Showing her experience here in this game for sure. It's paid off for Tulsa in this comeback. They were down by as many as 7 in the first quarter. Polk can't handle it. And Cheyenne Creighton comes away with it. Again, Creighton, she has been phenomenal for Memphis. 5 straight double-doubles before the game on New Year's Day, and the overtime loss to Temple still put up 15 points and 8 rebounds. They're trying to get the ball into her and can't, and Tulsa comes away with it again.
Yeah, but the angle wasn't right for that pass. They needed to go baseline side on the pass, and they went to the high side, and that's why it was deflected. Okay.
Three-pointer won't go for Golden. So the Tigers down to the final half minute here. Will work for, actually they'll call a timeout, 20-second timeout. Or a 30, I think I said 20. Too many WNBA games. It's a 30-second timeout for Melissa McFerrin. We talked about some of the adjustments that her staff has had to make. One of her assistants, Danielle O'Banion, has had to go through some treatments, and then one of her players, Bria Elmore, number 5, we'll talk about in the second half with the family tragedy. And so Memphis has had quite a bit of tragedy here in the first part of the season. She lost 2 players too before the season even started. So they're down to 9 players. They can't even play 5-on-5 legitimately without having to bring on, I'm assuming, one of their assistant coaches to get a 5-on-5 practice. Memphis, the shot clock difference of 9 seconds. And a low-scoring first half. Memphis with only 5 points here, or 7 points here in the second quarter, and that one is way off the mark by Williams. Well, I was right the first time. 5 points in the second quarter for Memphis. Here's Tulsa with a chance, and now they'll call a quick 30-second timeout. And Matilda is on Perez because she kind of didn't speed to the spot that Madilda wanted to inbound to call the timeout. And again, that's paying attention and getting all of the little things that she's still trying to teach to this team, which starts 2 freshmen, a sophomore, and 2 juniors. But it's been the senior Ashley Hughes off the bench for Tulsa that has brought on this comeback when they were down by as many as 7 in the first quarter. Closed at the 2 to start the second quarter. And now they have a chance to take the lead in the final 7 seconds of this first half. Perez out front. Very good three-point shooter. And apparently stepping on the sideline and out of bounds was Ebony Parker. I have no ups. I cannot help you on this situation. And neither can Addison Richards. So we have 2.8 seconds to go the length of the floor for Memphis. They've got a crack at it here to hit something from long range. It'll count. So the miss by Barnes sends us to intermission with a score tied at 20 between Melissa McFerrin's Memphis Tigers and the Golden Hurricane of the University of Tulsa here in the first half. Let's go to Coach Angela Beck, who has, as you see, the Tulsa coach with her.
Outstanding interior defense on Creighton. Tell us what your plan was.
Well, we didn't want to double her. We just wanted to show her hands, have a body, so that she doesn't look open. That's the big deal. We're not trying to, do anything fancy other than to make her not look open.
It's a low-scoring game. How can you create some more offense?
Well, we've struggled offensively. We just haven't gotten into a rhythm. We keep running. We're down to the last 10 seconds of the shot clock. We've just got to talk to our guys about being more efficient on offense.
You happy with the 20-20 score?
Sure, I'm good. We got down early, so the fact that we came back and were able to tie it, yes.
Good luck, Coach.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you, Angela. And thank you for joining us from the Reynolds Center on the campus of the University of Tulsa. Memphis had the lead, but Tulsa's come back to tie it 20-20 at halftime on the American Digital Network.
We are American. We are the spark that ignites, dazzling, brilliant, intense. We are plugged in with the volume turned up all the way. Because on this court, on any given night, the energy of 5 becomes the power of 1. That's power. We are power.
Hey there, Happy New Year from the American Digital Network studio. Hope 2017 is off to a great start. Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of The Rise. I'm Haley Outen. As we all sat back and enjoyed the holiday season, action really started heating up on the hardwood as American Conference action got underway. SMU, UCF, Houston, and preseason favorite Cincinnati all opened league play 2-0. The Cougars' 2-0 conference start came on the road, notching that feat for just the 3rd time in program history and the 2nd consecutive season under head coach Kelvin Sampson. Rob Gray Jr. was a key factor in UH's hot start. Gray took home American Player of the Week honors as he averaged over 22 points per game, including a 25-point outburst at USF. Meanwhile, SMU and Cincinnati both extended winning streaks over the break. The Mustangs will enter Wednesday night's game versus Temple with an 8-game winning streak, while the 22nd-ranked Bearcats pushed their home court winning streak to 17 games with a victory over Tulane. Jaron Cumberland led Cincinnati with 19 points in the win en route to American Rookie of the Week accolades, the 2nd time in 3 weeks Cumberland secured the honor. After 2 straight conference road matchups, Houston returns to Hopkins Pavilion for a pair of games, welcoming Tulsa on Wednesday night before a key matchup with Cincinnati on Saturday at 9 p.m. Eastern on ESPNU. On Thursday, Memphis, which is coming off an impressive 70-54 victory over number 25 South Carolina, will host UConn in a matchup of 2 of the 11 active head coaches who have won a national championship. And on the women's side, the new year saw notable performances mark the start of league play. Temple head coach Tanya Cardozo became the program's all-time winningest coach on Sunday as the Owls topped Memphis 73-67 in overtime. The win was the 5th straight for Temple, who improved to 9-3 overall and 1-0 in conference play with the victory. Cardozo passed Dawn Staley with her 173rd victory in Philadelphia and is now 173-104 in her 9th season as Temple's head coach. 3 players notched double-doubles for the Owls in the New Year's Day contest, led by a 19-point, 10-assist, 8-rebound stat line from Fayonda Fitzgerald, who tallied her second double-double of the season. UConn and USF are ranked number 1 and number 25 in the latest USA Today coaches poll, while Tulane and Temple are receiving votes. The Huskies, who opened American Athletic Conference play with a win at UCF on Sunday, are 2 games away from tying their NCAA record 90-game winning streak set from 2008 to 2010. Gabby Williams earned this week's American Player of the Week honor after leading the Huskies to a 2-0 week that saw UConn defeat 4th-ranked Maryland on the road in College Park. Williams started the week with a 16-point, 9-rebound, 5-assist effort in the win over the Terrapins last Thursday and had 15 points in only 28 minutes in the win over the Knights. USF rookie Tamara Henshaw was named the American Freshman of the Week after grabbing her first double-double last Friday in a win over Stetson with 12 points and a career-best 13 rebounds. Henshaw started her 3rd game of the season against the Hatters and was 6 of 8 from the field in the victory. And don't forget, we have 2 women's basketball games on the schedule this week live on the American Digital Network. Wednesday, you can catch Memphis at Tulsa at 8 p.m. Eastern, and then Saturday, SMU visits East Carolina at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 Central. Coming up next, Campus Connect brings us the story of UConn's new but very familiar head coach. Stay with us.
We are American. We operate from a place of power, a place where what goes up doesn't necessarily come down, where the laws of physics are thrown out the window and high off the glass. It's power that moves us forward by leaps and bounds, the kind of power that brings the house down so the house can rise up. That's power. We are power.
The American welcomed 5 new head football coaches to the league over the holiday season, and Campus Connect's Hector Molina gives us a closer look at the return of former UConn head coach Randy Edsall.
After many subpar seasons, the University of Connecticut football team has brought back an old face to a familiar place. The program plans to return to their winning ways, and it's safe to say newly hired head coach Randy Edsall knows a thing or two about winning in Connecticut.
It's my pleasure to welcome back and reintroduce our next head coach, Randy Edsall.
UConn Athletics recently held a press conference at Pratt & Whitney Stadium to welcome Coach Edsall back to his former home. Edsall had a previous stint at UConn from 1999 to 2010, an 11-year span where he became the Huskies' winningest head coach, compiling a record of 74-70 that included 2 Big East championships and a BCS Bowl berth. Edsall said building the program back up is something that he can't do alone.
What I need is the help of everybody in this room. I just talked to some of the student athletes. I had a conference call with them the other day on the phone. But together, we can make sure that we get this place 40,000 strong and putting banners up, playing and winning, because again, that's what UConn is all about. It's about winning in the classroom. It's about winning on the field. It's about winning in life for these young men once they leave here.
Yeah, it's definitely an exciting time. I mean, especially with the prior success that Coach Edsall had here at the University of Connecticut. And I got to meet him, and it was a great meeting, and I think he was right with everything he said. Very close-knit group, I would say, especially the senior class. And we all here, everyone just wants to win. I think everyone's building everyone in the state of Connecticut. They just want to see UConn football be successful.
Oh, I'm very excited. I can't wait till we get started. He's a great guy. We had a conversation with him in the locker room, and he's just ready to work. He's very motivated, and that motivates us.
I think it's actually the greatest thing that happened to us in the last 5 years. I've been going to these games for 63 years. 63 years, before Memorial Stadium. So, and I've known a lot of the head coaches over the years, but Randy I always had an affinity for. Since he left, there haven't been as many guys going to the pros. He took guys that nobody recruited heavily and turned them into professional football players.
But what Edsel is most excited for is the opportunity to get to help his new players succeed.
Great group of guys, a together group, a group that I look forward to coaching and mentoring and helping them achieve the goals that they want to achieve. So I didn't want to get emotional, but this is what Connecticut's all about, and this is what Connecticut has meant to me. And thank you for having me back. God bless you.
Husky fans will get their first look at the revamped Huskies on UConn's annual Blue and White game. For Campus Connect, from UConn, I'm Hector Molina.
And here's a look at the full list of new head coaches that will join Edsel. Former Texas head coach Charlie Strong has taken the reins at USF. Former Florida defensive coordinator Jeff Collins has replaced Matt Rule at Temple. Former Houston offensive coordinator Major Applewhite was promoted to head coach and will lead the Cougs in 2017. And Cincinnati has welcomed former Ohio State defensive coordinator Luke Fickell as the Bearcats head coach. That's all we have for you today on this week's episode of The Rise. Thanks for tuning in and hope you have a great start to the new year. For the American Digital Network, I'm Haley Outen.
In a city known for doing things our way, there's a university that's driven to do the same, to blur the outdated line between academic pursuits and active ones, not just to learn, but to experience, to create, solve, build, to explore and express, to lead. Because an education isn't something you get, it's something you do.
University of Tulsa, a top 50 private institution.
We are American. The conference of opportunity. The opportunity to chase dreams. The opportunity to make your mark and change the game. Because that's power. We are power.
Our American Athletic Conference Freshman of the Week is the forward from USF, Tamara Henshaw. Boy, the South Florida forward had some kind of week last week. Her first double-double in a win Friday over Stetson. 12 points and a career-high 13 rebounds. She got those 12 points thanks to 6 of 8 shooting from the field. Our AAC Freshman of the Week. Our Player of the Week is Connecticut's Gabby Williams. She did it all last week. 64% shooting from the field. Averaged 15.5 points per game, 7.5 rebounds, and 4.5 assists per game in wins over Final Four candidate Maryland, and then beat a very good UCF team in their conference opening win. So congratulations to Gabby Williams, AAC Player of the Week. Our first half stats finds the score 20-20, and here's one of the reasons, or some of the reasons why. You see both teams shooting around the same. Tulsa has taken one less shot, made one less basket. Free throw shooting has been Tulsa's ticket, 5 out of 6 compared to 3 of 5 for Memphis. And they're holding their own in the rebounds, 17 to 15. And the turnovers have been pretty even. Bench scoring had Memphis up 9 to 3 at one time, now 9 to 8. Both teams points in the paint at 6 apiece. So it has really been an even game, thus the 2020 score. Taylor Barnes started out very well for Memphis, scoring 6 of their first 15, and she's still one of their leading scorers. Taylor Williams was all of their offense in the second quarter. She leads Memphis with 7, and Barnes with 6. Cheyenne Creighton, though, is the big story. Only 2 shots and missed them both from the field, with 1 point in the first half, but has 6 rebounds. Meanwhile, for the Golden Hurricane, who hasn't come out yet, they are led by Erica Wakefield, 6 points. She's 1 of 5 from the field, but has rallied to go 4 of 4 from the line, and then 3 points on a three-pointer. The only 3 of the first half for Ebony Parker in Tulsa. As we go over to Coach Beck.
Your defense has been outstanding. You held them to 20 points, but Creighton's only touched the ball 2 times. What are you going to do to get the ball to Creighton?
Well, I tell you what, we've got to do a better job, first of all, of feeding her down the middle of the floor. We're going to ask her to go get some offensive rebounds. I think as soon as the ball goes in and she finds a little comfort zone, she'll be fine. And then we've got to get our 2 other starters back on the floor. We've got to get Elmo back on the floor, and we've got to get Brewater Cochran, because they know best how to get the ball to Cheyenne Creighton.
Any changes on your defense?
No, we're going to we went man halfway through the half. We're probably going to stay there.
Good luck, Coach.
Thanks.
Thank you, Angela Beck, and thanks to Melissa McFerrin, the head coach of Memphis, and again, inching closer to 200 career wins as she started at American University and now at Memphis. You can follow the Tigers throughout on GoTigersGo.com. You can follow the Hurricane at TulsaHurricane.com. And you can certainly follow this game on the American Digital Network and on Twitter. I'm Don King. It's a pleasure to have Angela Beck sitting alongside. Interesting that Tulsa's only made 1 3. But again, on the other side, Memphis hasn't gotten the ball inside to Cheyenne Creighton.
Missed a lot of missed cribs, a lot of opportunities where the ball wasn't really moving very well, not a lot of transition buckets. I'd like to say it's a defensive battle so far. Both teams know each other fairly well, so they've really shut down the key parts. But Memphis has to do a better job of getting the ball to their go-to people. They got to keep all their key players on the floor, like Coach indicated in our little talk. And then Tulsa, though, credit Tulsa. I mean, they know that this is an opportunity for them. She's extremely happy with where she is, and I think they definitely have a shot to maybe upset Memphis here.
You talked to 2 veteran coaches, as we've talked a lot about McFerrin and Mossman. Certainly congratulations in order to Tanya Cardoza, the head coach at Temple, in that overtime win over Memphis Sunday. She became the winningest coach in Temple history and passes the legendary Don Staley. So there are some good coaches in this league.
Absolutely, and they all have a lot of respect for each other, and they even got another good coach at SMU who's done an outstanding job, Coach Travis there. So they just keep adding them, and it's a well-respected conference, and a lot of people want to be part of it.
Well, an old coach I've done many games with, Angela Beck, says in a game like this, the first 3 minutes of the second half are the most important to see which team can get some rhythm and kind of take control of this game. So we shall see if that holds true.
Tulsa's had trouble in the third quarter, kind of historically. Had a little bit of withdrawal in that third quarter, so hopefully that doesn't happen today for them. 1 second.
Can't get the shot off in time. One of the problems that Tulsa has had this year has been free throw shooting. Not that they've not done well at the line. They have 72%, but their opponents have shot 128 more free throws coming into this game. Tonight's not too bad. Memphis is 3 of 5, Tulsa 5 of 6.
Well, Don, that's called poor defense. If you're fouling like that, you're not moving your feet, and you're frustrated, and a combination of a lot of things. So that really is a reflection on your defense.
Down to 10 seconds. Cochran off to Elmore. Not that time.
Elmore started backpedaling when she shot that. I'd like to see her forward pedal and try to go. She understands where the flight of that ball's going and try to go get her own rebound, because she missed it.
She's been probably their better player, their best player here in the last month after her mom unfortunately passed away. It's the basket by Golden. Her second of the game gives Tulsa the lead back at 22-20. Tell that basket.
There, Creighton finally touched it, and she finished it.
Her first basket of the game, coming in averaging 15 points a contest. Again, as Coach Mossman alluded to, and it happened on their first possession, Tulsa unable to work the shot clock down to where they couldn't get good shots. That time they took a quick shot from Golden.
Well, Golden took the shot. She's shooting 39% from there, so I would let her shoot that shot, but missed it and then made the double whammy by fouling on the rebound.
Both teams looking for their first conference win after losing the openers on Sunday. And here's a foul that will send Elmore to the line.
Well, they bailed out Elmore on that one. I think both teams are taking some pretty questionable shots.
Mm-hmm.
And they just need to reverse the ball, move the ball, make the cuts. And there's going to be somebody open. And, in fact, you probably can dribble penetrate then and get it to the rim.
Bria Elmore at the line out of Stone Mountain, Georgia.
In my theory as a coach, most teams don't want to play defense, right?
Yeah, right.
So if you make them play for 3 or 4, 5, 6 passes, soon you'll break them down. And young teams don't realize that. They think, oh, I need to go score, so they try to do it all on their own.
Right.
And they tilt it like they just stay on one side. So you haven't shifted anything. You miss it, they're going to rebound.
Yeah, that has to be one of the things, Coach, as a coach, is you can have success just by effort on defense. You get your team to buy in on defense. You can create offense also off the transition sometimes, and that helps your offense as well. Nice play by Golden, but she can't buy it. And the follow by Spurl.
That's a big rebound putback for Tulsa.
Ashley Hughes, who was big in the first half. Spurl there to clean it up again.
Well, I like Ashley Hughes. I think she should be playing more, and I think she's a leader. She's a glue. She's intense. She makes things happen. I think she's a good player to be having on the floor for Tulsa right now.
Well, she sure made some difference tonight. One of just a couple of seniors on this team. Creighton doing a nice job.
Yeah, she got bumped a couple times in there and stayed with it. So you're not always going to get the foul, and she just made it happen.
7 minutes to go, third quarter. Tied at 26. Hughes, we were just talking about. Spurl with another big rebound. And Golden makes them pay from the top of the key for 3.
Well, that's the best I've seen Spurl play in a 3-minute series, I think, maybe in her career. She's making everything happen. She's rebounding. She's just scored 4 points. Really good action for Tulsa right now.
She did that Sunday in a game against Houston, 12 points, 9 rebounds, and she was really the key player that got them into that game, back into that game on Sunday. And Elliott saves it from going out of bounds, and Tulsa wants to run. Wakefield leading the way. Golden tries to finish. Tulsa with their biggest lead of the game, albeit 3 points, 29-26.
So here's the rebound out, and just her feet are set, and they call that just a rhythm shot. When you catch and you shoot it, and that's what Matilda preaches, is rhythm shooting. She doesn't like them just to catch and dribble. She wants them to, in their rhythm, take their shot, and that's a Tulsa shot right there.
Golden leads the team in three-pointers. That was her 26th of the season as Elliott is out and number 33 Crystal Polk is back in. And again, you can follow us on Twitter throughout the season at American_WBB. Don King along with Coach Angela Beck. Glad to have you with us from Tulsa. We approach the midway mark of period number 3. Creighton now trying to buy something from the outside. Golden very good with her left hand. Her offhand is as good as her right hand. Wakefield with an opening. That's her forte right there, the floater in the paint.
That you're definitely right, Don. That's what she likes. Little floater, manage the game the best she can. She was off the ball, which I like. I don't like her having the ball in her hand as much.
Brianna Porter had a couple of looks at it, couldn't finish.
And the smallest player on the floor, the 5'7" Ashley Hughes, gets the rebound. It's not really by mistake. She averages 2.3 rebounds a game and not that, only 15 minutes. So
nice move by Polk, can't finish. Here comes Memphis. They need a basket. They jumped out to a 15-8 lead, the biggest lead for either team in this game. And Creighton can't get it to go, but she'll go to the line for 2. She works for the 2 there.
Here Creighton splits the defender and kind of awkwardly, not even facing the basket, throws it up, but does draw contact.
Cheyenne Creighton will shoot free throws when we return. An interesting story how she got to Memphis, and that's next on the American Digital Network.
We are American. We are the spark that ignites, dazzling, brilliant, intense. We are plugged in with the volume turned up all the way. Because on this court, on any given night, the energy of 5 becomes the power of 1. That's power. We are power.
In a city known for doing things our way, there's a university that's driven to do the same, to blur the outdated line between academic pursuits and active ones, not just to learn, but to experience, to create, solve, build, to explore and express, to lead. Because an education isn't something you get, it's something you do.
We are American. The conference of opportunity. The opportunity to chase dreams. The opportunity to make your mark and change the game. Because that's power. We are power.
University of Tulsa, a top 50 private institution.
Tulsa enjoying the biggest lead of the game for them at 31-26. They've scored the last 5 points of this game to break the 5th tie of the game. We had 3 lead changes in that first half. When you look at the numbers here, anything strike you, Coach?
Well, it strikes me that Memphis has taken more threes than Tulsa, and they're 1 of 10. So if I'm Melissa McPherson, I'm telling them to quit shooting the 3. And she really told me yesterday that she doesn't really want them shooting a lot of 3s. So they seem to kind of be in Tulsa. I think Tulsa's really, they're dictating action, and Memphis is kind of buying into it.
Yeah, you're right.
So, I mean, that's really pretty surprising to me.
Creighton has started scoring, though. She has 7 points, 6 in the quarter. She's an interesting story. She pulls her team to within 3. Cheyenne Creighton is out of Ontario, Canada, but actually had committed to Albany. And then things just didn't work out. She felt like she needed a change. And so McFerrin had seen her play in North Carolina during the summer and then in the late spring, and actually signed her very late in the recruiting process. As Ebony Parker lights the board for another three. Tulsa with 2 trays here in the third period, 3 overall. Parker has 2 of the 3 in this game. And Tulsa.
Well, Parker must still think it's her birthday.
Right.
I guess she had a really good practice yesterday, so this is not really a surprise for them.
Stephanie Hall, their media contact, said, I'm not sure what they did, but I ran into them at the grocery store last night, and they were going to fix pork chops and mashed potatoes. So they had a big meal for her anyway. And it's paid off. Parker with a couple of threes, and Tulsa has their biggest lead of the game at 6 as Miller drives in. There's the 3, and they're unable to hit again. 1 of 11 from three-point land, and Tulsa, surprisingly, is owning the glass.
Both times on ball reversal, they're wide open inside to Creighton, and they're not seeing her. Good hustle inside on that rebound by Crystal.
And Tulsa right now is just out hustling Memphis. Perez checks in for Wakefield. For Tulsa, here's a look at the sophomore out of Cypress, Texas, which opened just a few years ago. Cypress Woods High School. Nice drive by Hughes. Unable to finish, but I think she got bailed out on the foul.
Hughes has had a nice little drive here. I think they called it from behind. She's had several starts for them, and even though she's had some reduced minutes, second best free throw shooter in the school history, she is. So,
and to show you the decrease in play, that's just her second free throw of the year.
No wonder she's shooting 1,000.
She hits them both. And even though those are her first 2 points of the game, she has been a huge spark for this TU team defensively, moving the ball around, picking up the loose balls.
I'm looking at her leadership even more, though.
Right.
I feel that she's calling everybody in a huddle. I don't see that on the Memphis side.
Right.
There's not one player. Cheyenne's trying it a little bit, but you can tell her voice isn't real commanding, and she's not feeling comfortable in that. So someone else needs to step up, and I don't know who it is right now.
Well, Coach had mentioned today this team just still has had so much adversity. They're still trying to find whatever the new normal is. And I thought that was kind of an expression I'd never heard before, but it kind of fits for them, doesn't it?
Yeah, they've had some unfortunate deaths with the boyfriend and the mother and some issues that they've had to deal with. But Coach is very sensitive about that, and family comes first. And you know, they dealt with it as the best they could, and I'm sure they're still dealing with it. Nice save.
Cochran saved it for Taylor Barnes, who's been rather silent in this game after getting 6 points early. Creighton starting to get the ball more on the high post, and that allows her some room to penetrate. And we'll stay on this end.
Creighton got the ball, reverse pivot, faced the big girl, and then attacked the basket, and came up short. Just a little hard on the banker, but I like it when she reverse pivots and faces it because she can get to that rim.
St. Louis freshman number 12, Shug Dixon, checks in for the first time tonight. Nice save. And the basket, count it, for Milena Bajic.
That was huge. It was strong. Here we go. Reverse pivot. She's short off the glass. Bajic just takes it and finishes it. they've been looking for that. I like her physical size too. She's strong, nice free throw shooter.
She completes the three-point play, pulls the Tigers to within 4. Yeah, they need her with Tulsa starting to really own the glass and control the rebounds. They've put her in, and that should help Memphis as Bajic completes the three-point play. Parker with that quick release.
She does. I'd like her just to, she caught it and barely even came down to the ground. I think if she would just set her feet a little bit and then stroke it, she'll probably hit a little higher percentage.
This is Dixon. In any danger of personal fouls. Wild shot by Creighton and controlled by Elliott.
Yeah, she faced the basket, but she had 2 people in there.
And that lay in by Richards.
Addison Richards is a player that doesn't score a whole lot for him. She only averages a couple points a game. So anytime she's going to give you 2 late in the game, I'm sure that they're thrilled.
Watching her at Bigsby High School, south of Tulsa, suburb south of Tulsa. She was a good scorer for them and runs the floor extremely well. Cheyenne Creighton having a tough night. 2 of 9 from the field. 8 points. It's done well on the boards, though. 7 rebounds. Elliott, good defense, and her 8th rebound of the game.
Well, I'm going to give Creighton an A for effort. That thing didn't go in, but that was a heck of a try. Looks like she has a little hip pointer going. Kind of fell and hit her hip.
You talked about leadership and the fact that she's not quite the vocal leader. That's something that this Memphis team's still looking for, isn't it? That vocal leader, and I know that's been kind of tough on them as well.
Yeah, it's you want your seniors to be your leaders. That doesn't always happen. Just because they're a senior doesn't make them a leader. I think there's the whole debate, can you make somebody a leader? Or nice inbounds play to Hughes. Can you make them a leader, or is it something that they have to have within them? And I think it's a combination. I do think you have to have the ability to want to lead, but I think you can give them things to help them become better leaders. But on this floor right now, I guess I'd have to go with Williams maybe.
Yeah. She's one of the seniors on this team. Just 2 seniors on this Memphis team. That's a 3 ball. They're fighting hard, both teams. And again, Hughes coming up with a loose ball as she has throughout. 3-on-1 break. Wakefield turns it into 2. And Tulsa back up by 8. Their biggest lead, matching their biggest lead of the game.
Wakefield seems to have the ability to understand time and the presence and what needs to be done, and that she had 2 people that were on the break, but she said, hey, I'm taking this myself, and that was a nice touch shot.
And she's the first player in double figures. Creighton tries to answer at the other end and does a nice job. That stops the Tulsa 6-0 run with that strong move to the hoop from junior Cheyenne Creighton.
She hasn't been taken out of the game all night, and she's not going to be.
She's now in double figures with 10. Golden winding up a 3. Alexis Golden is golden. She's got 10 points.
Well, on the scouting report, they said we want her to score more. We need more out of her, and that was a big bucket.
She's in double figures now for the 5th time this year, 4th in the last 5 games. So if she can continue to do that and complement Wakefield.
If they don't score here and I'm Memphis, I'm calling timeout.
Good point. Elmore, though, buries it.
Well, see, Melissa must have known more than me because I wanted a timeout before that even started.
Right. That was almost a 3. It's a 2 for Elmore. She's hit a 3 in her last 6 games, each in her last 6 games.
There's Wakefield doing what she does well, calming everybody down.
Richards picks up the loose ball. 6 to shoot. Golden in trouble. Polk has to let it go. Got it. How about that? It's your night when those go in.
Bessie, hold the door down, because as a visiting coach, you know that's not a good sign.
However, Baich comes back at the other end.
She's shaking her head like, you better start guarding me.
Right.
I got a hot hand.
She has 10 points all in this second half.
Well, this is what I wanted to see. First half was kind of boring, I have to say. This is good stuff.
Nice pass to Hughes. She had a good look. Baich with a rebound. Here comes Memphis. Down 7. Nice pass into Creighton and a strong move, but can't close it out. And Wakefield.
Creighton is really gasped right
they
now.
are.
I think if you don't want to talk to him, you just want to rest him right now.
And again, they're down to 9 players, with 2 players out with season-ending knee injuries. So we have a timeout. We'll catch our breath. We've got 3:33 remaining. Tulsa clinging to a 7-point lead. Can they hang on and finish? It's been a struggle for them. We'll find out next on the American Digital Network.
In a city known for doing things our way, there's a university that's driven to do the same, to blur the outdated line between academic pursuits and active ones, not just to learn, but to experience, to create, solve, build, to explore and express, to lead. Because an education isn't something you get, it's something you do.
We are American. We are the spark that ignites, dazzling, brilliant, intense. We are plugged in with the volume turned up all the way. Because on this court, on any given night, the energy of 5 becomes the power of 1. That's power. We are power.
University of Tulsa, a top 50 private institution.
We are American. The conference of opportunity. The opportunity to chase dreams. The opportunity to make your mark and change the game. Because that's power. We are power.
Don King along with Angela Beck. Pleasure to have you with us on the American Digital Network. Okay, if you're in the Tulsa huddle, Coach, what do you think Matilda Mossman is telling her club right now?
Well, I think she's telling them, let's do more of the same. Let's keep our intensity up. Let's keep the, pay attention and don't let them get the ball into Creighton. Don't give them any easy threes right now. We've got a lead offensively. Let's slow some things down. We don't have to shoot the first shot in the first couple seconds. Let's try to work the ball a little bit. There's 3:33 going, and they've got themselves a 7-point lead. So let's manage it.
Meanwhile, for Memphis, down 7.
Memphis, I'm going to extend my defense, and we've got to go all out right now.
Yeah.
Memphis has got to make something happen, and that's quickly, and it's going to have to start with their defense.
And that plays into Tulsa's hands because, as you mentioned earlier, adept at the guard position is Cheyenne Creighton, now has 12 points, starting to pick it up. She has 7 rebounds as well. So she could very well still end up with a double-double in this game.
Well, that's the most definite she was at the post. She took her time. She backed her down and was a little more soft off the glass. She tends to, if she misses, she hits it hard off the glass.
Under 3 to play. Golden gets a pick from Polk. Can't do much with it. Now splits the defenders. The behind the back pass, and Polk got fouled. They'll call the foul on Memphis, Taylor Barnes.
Let me see, a behind the back pass to Polk. Probably not something they drew up in the huddle. What do you think?
That's something you wouldn't have drawn up. Oh, a tough shot there by Hughes. She thought there were only 2 seconds on the shot clock as she points to Mossman with 2 fingers, thinking there was just 2 on the shot clock. Ouch.
Not a good decision.
No. So she gives Memphis a free possession here with 2.5 to play. Beich has been tough. So is Creighton, even though she's 4 of 13 shooting. Morris drives in. She'll try the runner. And Polk clears it for Tulsa. That's the kind of night it's been for Memphis. They've had some good shots off the glass, just a tad too strong.
Well, what I didn't like about it was that she didn't go in and draw the contact. She shot around the defender. If you miss it, you got nothing. There she gets it back with a steal, though. Let's see if they can convert.
Barnes with an errant pass to Morris.
Well, that's when she needs to punch dribble. She doesn't need to keep going. Once you get to the free throw line and you're a dribbler, you got to hold it up, let people get in their positions, and then dish it off. She just kept going kind of uncontrollably and lost the ball out of bounds.
Turnovers are pretty much even in this game. It's been an even game throughout. Memphis had a 7-point lead in the first quarter. Tulsa came back to tie it in the second, and then took control of the game in the third to lead by as many as 8. Memphis has been able to get it as close as 2 in this fourth quarter. But Tulsa now up by 5. And Hughes for a big 3. Tigers need to convert. Creighton with the double team. And a timeout by Coach McFerrin.
That's a good timeout. Minute 13 to go. 5-point game. They need to score on that end.
Let's take a look at Cheyenne Creighton, the 6'1" junior out of Canada.
Well, she's a hard worker. That's a nice little turnaround jumper in the lane. That's a quick just touch pass right in. Doesn't put it down. Splits the defender this time. She's called a workhorse. Now she's using the left hand off the glass. That's everything that you got right there.
She's an all-conference candidate, no question about it. 5 straight double-doubles, and followed that up with a game Sunday, 15 points, 8 rebounds. But not only is she an outstanding player and the leading scorer on this team, the leading rebounder, she's a 2-time all-academic, all-AAC member. And I asked her about that this afternoon. She said, academics are just as important to me as what I do on the court because my mom instilled that to me. She's a principal for a middle school in their hometown, and her mom played basketball.
Well, the interesting thing is, you know, these kids aren't given anything in the classroom. They walk in, they look just like everybody else, and there's no grades given to these, but there's a lot of time that these players spend outside of the classroom traveling and in different sports, even besides basketball, and it's really challenging. And I commend these guys that are making the A honor roll and really giving their academics as much attention as I feel a lot of the women do in American.
And you mentioned a lot of time off the court and in the classroom and out of the classroom. These two programs with Matilda Mossman at Tulsa and Melissa McFerrin at Memphis do a great job within their communities.
I think she talked about 500 hours of community service, and that plus traveling plus everything. That's a huge commitment. But they also get full ride scholarships, and they have the privilege of going to college for free. So I understand the whole thing. It's a wonderful thing, and I'm happy for them all.
And then you saw number 5, Bria Elmore. There's a look at Creighton as well. Elmore lost her mom last month to breast cancer and fought it for such a long time. Had been in remission, I think twice, I was told, and finally succumbed to the disease. And Bria Elmore has just been lights out for this Memphis team, unfortunately, since her mom passed away. But this team really rallied around that, and Melissa McFerrin says they've spent a lot of time in the community at the different hospitals, at the different cancer centers, the different hospitals in Memphis.
Well, our thoughts and prayers are out there for the Elmore family, because that's tough.
Yeah. Minute 13 remaining. Memphis has drawn something up. Let's see what Coach McFerrin has drawn up. They've gone to Creighton inside the last couple of times. They get it to her again. The three by Cochran won't go. And again, a loose ball, this time saved by Memphis. We're under a minute to play. And another timeout for Memphis.
Well, one of the problems right now in the game is that there's screens being set, but the guards aren't waiting for it to get set.
Yeah.
They're taking off before the forward or the post can get out there, and so it's kind of ineffective. And if they'll just wait and get a really solid screen, then they'll get open. I thought that Tulsa did a great job. There were three options on that. They got to the third option, and it happened to be Creighton on the block, and they doubled her really super well. So she wasn't able to take the game over. Here's the three down the stretch, up at the top. Just it's nothing but net. And you say you live and you die by it, but that time, I mean, that's Golden just nailing it with a beautiful arching jumper from the top.
Big possession here for the Tigers. Cochran draws the foul on Richardson. So Bria Wilder Cochran, averaging 7.5 points a game, hasn't scored yet in her 50th career start, but she'll have a chance here at the line.
I absolutely love that play because she drove to the hole and made it happen. I don't like when you come out of a timeout and try to throw something up. I mean, get yourself a quality possession. Of course, then she misses a free throw, but I mean, there's nothing a coach can do. I mean, they're trying to execute. Now they need to come out into a full court press and probably get a foul because, there's only like a 3-possession game left.
I know what Coach McFerrin is saying. We did two things. We get free shots, and we stop the clock, and yet we've had a real struggle this year shooting free throws, only 63% from the line.
Yeah.
But they did make one of the two.
I didn't have a conversation with her, but I know a coach that has a team that's struggling, then they go out and they shoot a bunch, and they shoot them in different ways. They try to get the kids to shoot them under pressure. They try to give them penalties by running when they miss. There's so many things to do, but in the bottom line is when it starts raining, it pours. And if one person starts missing, it gets in your head.
It gets contagious.
And I think that their techniques look good. It's a mentality thing.
Yeah. Well, they are 11 of 16 tonight for 69%, which is above their norm.
Yep.
Tulsa has the next foul will put Memphis in the bonus. Memphis has 2 fouls to give with 49 seconds left. Memphis has a timeout left. Tulsa has 2 timeouts left. And Morris commits the foul. And again, they had a foul to give.
Little stack play on the inbounds. Trying to keep it away from Morris.
And another foul, this one committed by Memphis on Ashley Hughes. And again, another foul to give, that on Taylor Williams. That's just her second of the game. So now they'll probably, if they need to, they can put Tulsa in the bonus with the next foul. And Pope lost it out of bounds. How about that? Wow.
That's great defense by Memphis. They double-teamed Wakefield to make sure she couldn't touch the ball, and they gave it to the one person they didn't care about getting the ball, which was Polk, and she turned it over.
All right, here come the Tigers. Down 4 with 40 seconds left. What a finish. And Polk with a big poke away. And a foul since Wakefield one of their better free throw shooters to the line.
Well, I liked where they were going with it, but the angle, where is the defense? The defense is there. She needs to dribble and improve that angle a little bit or pass it to the other side and poke it in, but unfortunately, the angle that pass was not good.
So here's Wakefield, who is 4 of 4 from the line tonight. She is about as good as it gets. This is her 4th straight double-figure scoring game, and her 11th in 15 games this year. And she's got 12 points in the game. And now Memphis is still 2 possessions down, but they need 3-pointers. Morris tries her luck. Got it. That's a 2.
No more timeouts. Melissa calls a timeout.
So it's 53-49.
Tulsa calls it.
Yeah, back to a 2-point game. Memphis has a timeout left. Tulsa has 1 left as well. Both teams are in the bonus. Do you like the... Well, let's
Here's
take
a
look.
replay. Just, I mean, at this point, you're just rocking and firing. There's a miss, but a great defensive scramble. And then she just takes it and fires it. I mean, you'd love it if it was a 3, but, you know, really any points right now, it's golden. So I like that she just fired it right back up.
Now that they've gone to the 4 quarters instead of 2 halves, 5 fouls in a quarter gets you to a bonus. It's the double bonus, what the WNBA does, 2 free shots instead of a 1-and-1. Do you like that, or should we still have the 1-and-1 opportunity?
I love it, as do, I think, 90-some% of everyone that you talk to, just because it quickens the game up. There's not so many timeouts, you know, and at this point, you know, you're guaranteed 2 shots. You've earned it. You know, you got five fouls a quarter. So I think for our game, it's really good. The guys are talking about possibly going to it too. This was an awesome game, a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. But this is the American, and that's what happens. It doesn't matter. Besides UConn,
right.
I have to take them out of the equation.
Sure. But everybody else, it's a free-for-all.
You can't go in anyone's house and think you're going to steal a W easily. And even as young as they may be, you know, Wakefield's still a great floor general for them. And she's really pretty much managed things down the stretch. And then you add Hughes in there and Perez, you got 3 point guards making it happen. Who I'm surprised that Tulsa's had in there was Addison Richards, just a freshman. She's had her in critical moments down the stretch, so good for her.
Wakefield had hit 7 in a row, but misses that one. 5-point game, but the clock is against Memphis until that 3-point bomb from Taylor Williams. Wow. How crazy was that? 54-52 on the 3-point bomb from Williams with 12.8 seconds left. A good screen at the top by Beich. And she got free for the 3. Wow. And then they immediately foul Golden at the other end. Golden has usually been a good free throw shooter in her high school career, but at the college level, 58%. No trouble with that one.
3-point game, 12 seconds left. Let's see if she advances the ball here. Call timeout and advance the ball if she makes it.
The guards have been spectacular for Tulsa. Wakefield 13 and Golden with 12.
No advance.
Yeah, they don't call the timeout. Williams stepped back 3 and made it, but they're going to call her for the push-off with the elbow.
Wow.
Huge call here.
Yep, she pushed her off. Definitely. I'm surprised that there was no advancement of the ball.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's right, because the timeout.
If she has one timeout left, why don't you advance the ball, set up a situation, because you're wasting 6-7 seconds.
Right.
Well, 12 seconds. You were wasted 4 seconds getting the ball down the court.
Exactly. We mentioned there were other games going on in the AAC. Temple today over Kennesaw State in a non-conference game. UConn won, and Tulane has knocked off South Florida tonight. Tulsa trying to win their first conference game and their home opener in the conference play. You take a look at the standings. Tulsa trying to avoid their longest losing streak of the season. They've lost 3 in a row on a couple of occasions, but they haven't been able to put up back-to-back wins. Here's a foul before the inbound pass, and that's an automatic 2 free throws anyway for Golden.
I like that foul. There's not enough time to let them run anything, so why not foul them quickly, hope and pray they miss it. For two teams that don't shoot the free throws very well, it's been a great free throw shooting night for them.
Tulsa 13 of 15. Memphis 11 of 16. And that miss won't hurt as Memphis calls the timeout. And that's their last timeout of the game with 7.7 seconds remaining. So Tulsa looks as though they'll win it by scoring their last 6 points of this game from the foul line. They shot 36% in this game compared to Memphis's 35%. They took one more shot than Memphis and made one more shot. And then you look at Tulsa, which averages 7 threes made a game, made 4 tonight, 4 of 14. Memphis 3 of 17. So that was pretty much the same. Rebounding was even, 38-37 Tulsa. Tulsa did turn the ball over 15 times, Memphis 17. So the stats are pretty much even, but Tulsa has the lead, 57-52 rather, in this fourth quarter. They went into this fourth quarter with just a 2-point lead, and it was 2-point game early in the fourth before Tulsa had a 6-0 run to go up by 8. Memphis was able to come back to close it to 4, or actually close it to 2, I should say, with 12 seconds left on that 3-pointer from Williams at the top of the key. But Golden has bailed Tulsa out with some free throws. Now they work it to the front end.
Well, they haven't been able to close games out in all the close ones that they've lost, and this could be the first one, and I'm sure it's going to be an amazing feeling just trying to keep all the pieces to the puzzle together. It's a disappointing loss for Memphis if it happens here, because they've been so close in both. They lost in overtime and now here.
5-second call on Tulsa. They're doing everything they can to help Memphis out. What if Memphis has made that last shot? Wow.
Yeah, the push-off shot. Yeah. I mean, she did make it, but she pushed off. So.
Or this 3-pointer that they airmailed.
Yeah, they're firing them up now. It's too bad they didn't have the same urgency before.
True. And we'll have a jump ball with 0.7 of a second left. So Tulsa will move their record to 5-10, 1-1 in conference play. In this conference, as you mentioned, Coach Beck, is so tough. You just have to hold home court serve here in this league. It's important to win your home games, and Tulsa has done it. They win it 57-52. We're going to visit with the winning head coach as the Golden Hurricane improved to 5-10 on the year, 1-1 in conference play, and snap a 3-game losing streak. Meanwhile, for Memphis, after winning 4 in a row, have lost their first 2 conference games, and they fall to 7-8 overall on the season. We'll take a break and hear from the winning head coach next on the American Digital Network.
We are American. We are the spark that ignites, dazzling, brilliant, intense. We are plugged in with the volume turned up all the way. Because on this court, on any given night, the energy of 5 becomes the power of 1. That's power. We are power.
In a city known for doing things our way, There's a university that's driven to do the same, to blur the outdated line between academic pursuits and active ones. Not just to learn, but to experience, to create, solve, build, to explore and express, to lead. Because an education isn't something you get, it's something you do.
Welcome back to the Reynolds Center as we go courtside to Coach Angela Beck.
Standing performance, Coach Mossman. Talk about your team.
I thought our kids just really dug in deep and really gritted it out. We talked at halftime about, that things are going to happen that don't go our way. We got to move forward. And I thought we did a great job, especially in the second half, of just moving forward. No matter what happened, just go to the next play.
You haven't shot the free throws very well lately, and you shot 10 of 12 from the free throw line.
Well, we've shot them well. We just haven't gotten there very often. So the fact that we were able to get to the free throw line was huge. And that was a point of emphasis, was to attack them and try to get to the free throw line.
You had a gritty performance on their interior. Combination of players. Talk about your bench.
Yeah, a little bit of it was, started out with Kendra and Elliott, then it went to Crystal Polk, and then you also have to look at Liesl Spurl and Addie Richards in there. I thought these guys did a great job of defending and keeping the ball out of their post players' hands for the most part.
That's a big victory. Congratulations.
It was. Thank you very much.
Player of the game.
Wow, 1 for 7 is what I heard. So,
well, we're not talking about, you don't always have to score to be the player of the game. Your leadership in that game, we felt, was a big key for your team's performance. What did you say to your team during the game?
We just have been, haven't really found our identity yet, and so just for us to come together tonight, get a win against a great Memphis team who, took Temple to overtime. We know our conference is tough, and it was just really important for us to be gritty and play hard on both ends of the floor tonight.
You played most of the game. What was your focus on?
I think just being solid on defense. We knew they like to attack the paint, so just keeping them out of their rhythm. They set a lot of on-balls was really my focus, and just trying to keep our team up and not let them get on runs. And I thought we blocked out really well tonight as well.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Back to you.
All right, thank you, Coach. So Tulsa falls down by 7 in the first quarter, but rallies back to tie it at halftime, takes an 8-point lead in the third quarter, and hangs on for the 5-point victory, 57-52, led by guards Erica Wakefield and Alexis Golden with 13 each. Cheyenne Creighton led Memphis with 12 points and 7 rebounds. Hope you enjoyed it as Tulsa goes to 1-1 in conference play. Memphis falls to 0-2. For our crew, Carl Harper, Martin Winterstrom, and for Coach Angela Beck, Don King, thanks for joining us. Hope you enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed bringing it to you on the American Digital Network. That was quick.